Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, listen. Ooh boy. I had the corruptive thought that just popped into my head a little bit. Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, the baseline of what we're going to be talking about today is how incredible BAAL is. Now, way back when she first launched, and we were just kind of leveling up her talents, I was like, she feels like good, like crazy good. And honestly, she reminded me a lot of when I first played Albedo, which I really liked. Albedo's like firecracker, like popping all over the place kind of playstyle. But what I didn't like is where he eventually felt like he kind of dropped off, where like his defense scaling wasn't crazy, and like I only ever seen him hit for like, especially when it was like first couple months of him being released, hit for like 15k on his pops, his like blossoms, and it could only happen every 2 or some seconds. And it was also Geo, so it wasn't like good element that synergizes with everything else. So yeah, but like when he was fighting against some enemies, it felt pretty decent. The Raiden Shogun feels like that, except, oh boy, the ceiling's high, my friends. The ceiling's very, very high, and that's what I was thinking. We made a video when she first came out, and I was saying, hey guys, I think she seems like she seems really good. Like, I haven't gotten to a moment where I feel like she's yuck. But as I level up her talents, I feel like that's even more the case. And I said that also. I was like, I think that when you level up her talents, because everything scales up, and I gave the example of what made me mad just when I was introing it, that's what I thought of, is Yoimiya. Always. Yoimiya just became the punching bag, and I feel so bad because I do love her to pieces. Her character, not her kit. Or actually, I love our kit. It's just so shit. Anyways, but if we go to this, and we look at its scaling, it jumps by like 2%, and it's only one thing that's being amplified. Where if we go to, where are you, BAAL? If we go to BAAL, you go look at this. Not only does it jump like by a pretty decent margin, jumps by like 12 to 20 or something like that. And that's just the cast. That's not even the butter that's like the bread. It's just the butter is the fact that it's consecutive hits constantly popping off and rattling off. There's a significant jump there. And not only that, but there's also this passive bonus that gives you more energy per hit for your elemental burst bonus damage. So that's insane. So like there's so many levels to this where it is just like, what? Like where Yoimiya jumps, like she jumps what, like 2%, and it's only one skill. This character jumps 3 skills, and it's also a pretty good margin. It's a pretty good jump. In total, it's like 30 or 40% buff, counting all of these. And even this one, this is the thing where I was just like, guys, every time I level this up, this feels like this is slapping shit down, like fast. Because every time you level up, it feels so good. Anyways, it jumps by like 30 or 20%. It's insane. 40%. And also, everything else compounds on top of each other. So as much as it's scaling, it's like, this is a 5% bonus. First of all, we just seen Yoimiya is a 2% bonus. This is a pretty good bonus. Anyways, Yoimiya sucks ass. She needs a buff. Fuck, I'll throw punch you if you fight me on this. Anyways, especially when she came out right before BAAL. It's not even like there was a gap where it was like maybe Mihoyo was like testing shit. No, it just doesn't make sense. It just is complete. BAAL is better in every single way than Yoimiya, and she's a fucking amazing burst DPS, and she's an amazing support character. Like, what are we talking? Anyways, what happened also? Anyways, forgive me. Back on track. With each coming buff, it increases our resolve stack gain percentage, which is huge. It also increases our hit multiplier, which that stacks on top of our resolve modifier, as well as our other like modifiers are getting better and better and better. The 5-hit combo really hits the hardest. And then the charge attack also can scale pretty hard. It's 2 things scaling, which is nice. Plunge attack damage irrelevant, doesn't really get that big, but where is it? This. So this is the other thing that is amazing. But basically, when you use your ult, you become a battery for your whole team. You start just offloading a shit ton of energy and restoring it to your allies. And it's not through this weird means of like it's like electro particle. No. It's just energy for your whole time. It's a white particle, meaning it's good for everybody. It's just like a hella good buff for whoever you're playing. So this is incredible, and it's like, not only are you getting stupid DPS scaling on your burst is now hitting like a fucking freight train, but now all like your resolve stacks, if you do accumulate a high amount of them, you build a team around her, that's going to be increasing your overall damage, as well as you have your base multipliers on you just attacking, which is going to be better. And then you have your final thing, which is giving your enemies more energy, or your allies, sorry, more energy. And how you do that is by hitting things. So everything feeds into itself perfectly. And this is why I've fallen in love with this character, is because she feels like everything works perfectly within itself. It is just a beautifully designed character that has, and she's not by any means like absolute fucking stupid broken like Ganyu. But she does feel like she has a place amongst the gods. She has a place amongst Venti and etc. and etc. Now, is that the reason why Yoimiya sucks ass? Was because she doesn't have a god? Well, no, because Shincho is a little fucking no-man. He's a book nerd who just kills everything in his fucking path. Anyways, Razor, same thing. Anyways, but ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be showcasing my Raiden Shogun. I don't want to say my ball, all right? Just one by both balls. Thank you very much. Anyways, actually, no, I'm not done. So yeah, it would be really cool if this stacked on top of this. That'd be awesome. Oh, also, by the way, I should clarify something. We had a stream a while ago where we were talking about Yoimiya. I think it was on Twitch, so you guys might not have seen it. But the question in the community was, does BAAL need a buff, essentially? And everyone's talents were like at a level 5 or 6. And every video you see in a BAAL was people like just doing absurd damage with C6, with like the best weapon ever, with her like max refine. So people were just like, I don't even know where to place her. But my BAAL doesn't look like that, and I'm only really hitting 2,000 damage, and my katana is not hitting hard at all. But that's because BAAL is meant to be a support DPS in general, but she's also perfectly built to be a support DPS, yes, but also just a really good DPS if you eventually level up this talent, because everything stacks on top of each other, making it really good. So for people who are like, I wish she did more damage and was more of a DPS, I thought it would be cool if they stacked this multiplier on top of this, but that might have gotten nutty, I don't know. Regardless, it's still on a cooldown, all that stuff. I think right now, honestly, BAAL is pretty fine. I do think Electro desperately needs a buff, because that's the thing that worries me, and that's what puts people off to BAAL is, like, if she did everything that she did, but it was water, or even like fire, or anything else, like cryo, people would be like instantly buy. But because it's Electro is such a weird niche kind of like support element that people aren't like wanting it, which is weird, because if like they don't want to make a character like this that mass applies a useful element or like a high damage scaling element like water, there's already a character like that called Shincho, so that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Anyways, just thought I would address that. But anyways, she also has, like, that alone would be enough. Just these two abilities playing in tangent, beautiful. Because also that's something you need to consider, is like people could be saying like, oh, well, this damage, like your damage isn't really good here. But that's because, my friend, it's always coupled with a 71 or 67% damage increase, and it's increasing your ult's damage from your entire party. So all of that works really well. So if you have Shincho, if you have Shangling, if you have Baido, if you have anyone like that, not Baido, sorry, not Baido. Sorry, what do you call it? All of that will play with that, and that's amazing. But they said, fuck it, let's give her some more sugar on top. This was just kind of I don't even know why it's here. Basically, when you get a particle, you get a little bit of resolve. It's unviable. It's like it's pointless for this to be here. Yeah, you get like maybe 1/8. Not good. This, however. This is stupid. This to me, if they were like, we will not buff Yoimiya, but we will give her one of these that scales off of attack percent in the same way, and it buffs her fire damage, because this is fantastic. So this is where, like, this is what I thought Yoimiya was going to be, because she had so many things that were like queued up for her to spike shit down and just fucking nail things. But everything was nerfed and catered to that end, whereas BAAL very much feels like it may have been catered, but it's still very, very high up in the heavens, like a god should be. But yeah, like this whole thing, everything works within itself. I already explained how these two things perfectly stack on top of each other and feed into it and etc. This thing though, because the best artifact set for you is this, which is just a shit ton of energy recharge, that energy recharge abundance for her insanely high costing ult feeds directly back into her character, giving you an abundance of electro damage and an abundance of energy recharge, which allows you to back-to-back your ult, which also means you can have good scaling on your abilities. So you know how I said my BAAL is shaping up pretty goddamn good? I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with my Archon, Raiden Shogun. So first of all, our crit rate could be better, but the thing is what do you call it? Our weapon, the catch that we have currently, it's when I fully level it up, it's gonna have 12 crit rate on our burst attack, which should scale up to my base attack as well, because her one attack counts as burst attack. So her base critting is pretty good. Her base critting should be around, I don't know, like what is it, 54, maybe 53, something like that, maybe close to that. But regardless, 47 crit rate, not the worst, especially when it's just our E, and our E hits hard anyway, and is mainly just there to be a quick damage amplification cast. But when I eventually get that leveled up, that should be good. Also, I could still get better artifacts down the line and make her pop off even more, which is awesome. Anyways, but the thing that I'm proud of, man, is how much energy recharge we have in combination with our, we have an electro cup and everything like that. So it's our energy recharge in combination with our crit damage and crit rate. We almost have 160 crit damage. That's not bad. And by the way, our damage is nowhere, and I mean nowhere near, fully ascended. So first of all, I need to level up her talents to level 99. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure you know, I never would have thought I would have liked this character as much as I did. I'm probably going to talent double crown her. And it's funny because I was like, I'm gonna do that for Yoimiya. Guys, you cannot play this character and play Yoimiya and be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I hate myself. What happened? What happened to making me like this, to have this response? Anyways, I still don't have this max refined. It is level 9, so its base attack scaling is pretty relevant, but in terms of its like, it gets 30%. That's another 10% burst damage alt and also crit rate, so it can be even more and all that stuff. But again, her talents are the thing that change the game with each ascension, and you feel that in a big way. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go get the last. Well, maybe we should wait. Yeah, let's leave, because I would want to make a video when like she is max crowned. We're gonna crown her. We're gonna put a goddamn catch full refinement on her. Bang, and we're gonna see how she plays. But here's one last thing. If anyone is like, how do I make my balls sing? How do I make it really pop off? Yes, my artifacts, I've been farming for Yoimiya, so I had good artifacts in terms of this whole thing, so I kind of did both. Anyways, and also always got better with luck with the energy recharge one. If you guys are curious how to make BAAL or I or whatever work, you're going to need to put her, and this makes sense, on the most support characters you can possibly muster. But I would say that helps a lot. But what's even more helpful is Bennett. Bennett changes her entirely. In fact, if I would wager anything, Bennett gives you the most abundance of burst damage I've ever seen. I've never personally experienced in Genshin 100,000 damage. Yeah, I just never done it. I've always been to death by 1,000 cuts with a razor and whatnot. Anyways. But this, she absolutely, her dimensional slash, when you activate her ult, does so much damage, and because of the way things scale, you're not able to get an abundance of like attack percentage on BAAL. So the fact that Bennett takes your like decent crit rate, decent crit chance, crit damage, decent energy recharge, pretty amazing electro damage, and then he patches the one issue you have, which is your attack percentage, but also the fact that you get hit every now and again. Again, people say that Sarah is amazing. I think she's great, but she doesn't fix the problem that almost every other character has, which is you're eventually gonna get weak. You're eventually gonna get hit, and also I can back-to-back his ult without relatively any cooldown, and Bennett's just insane. And yes, please give us a skin, for the love of God. I'm tired of seeing his stomach. Anyways,
good things come to those who don't wait around.
But yes, how to make a I good? Get a Bennett. If you don't have Bennett, use Sarah, because you hopefully got one Sarah from using her banner. And then give her anyone else like Shangling or Shinsho. They both scale with her, and they both benefit from her damage alt increase from this, the eye above your head, as well as the energy recharge gain from her ult. Although I will say, as long as you're fighting a lot of enemies and you're using everything in tandem, you don't need that much energy recharge on my characters. But for me, I like to go into any encounter with an ult because it's just what helps. It's basically how we do damage with this team. There's no main DPS that can just do good physical damage like my Razor. Could, but I just haven't put it in there yet. But every other character here has a good a shit ton of energy recharge, frankly. She's the only one that's kind of lagging behind a little bit. But that's just because I just got her up to being usable so I can make videos on her because she is so fun and so good. And also I think she's unarguably free to play. So yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's run around and just fuck shit up with her, okay? Because she is just... Okay, let's go to the domain that is like the classic like domain where everyone kind of tests their metal a little bit. This one right here. Dude, it is like insane. Well, the only thing that is like obviously to some small extent a counter with I, but not really, because again, you can just build a team that has stupid amounts of elements everywhere, which is what we have currently. We're able to activate sometimes Vaporize, but we're mainly detonating stuff crazy with Overload. It's basically just a soup of damage. And the thing that is also like almost everyone, I didn't hear anyone bring this up, but one of the problems with Overload is that it kicks people back. It like sends people flying. But one of the best parts about the Raiden Shogun is that she basically, when in her ult stat, teleports around and does mass AoE damage, circumnavigating the one issue with Overload, which is it pushes people back far away from you. Also, if you have Xiangling, covers a massive radius. You have Xingqiu, covers a massive radius. If you ever get knocked down a peg, he helps you. Also, there is something in the game called screenshotting, and all of these characters can make use of it. Basically, if any character is in Bennett's ult and you activate your ult damage and your attack is scaled up, even if you exit his ult or anything like that. Where there are certain characters like Yoimi who don't get to do that. Another one of the reasons why Yoimi just does not make sense. What happened? Why whoever had like a fucking bone to pick with Yoimi? I don't know. But yeah, Xiangling can benefit from this. So basically, all you need to know is whenever you want to sequence anything, use Bennett's ult, use Xiangling, use Xingqiu, use Raiden Shogun, and hopefully you've casted her E before that. So that is what we're going to try to do, although things tend to not live in general for us, although we do need to build up a little bit of our ult charge. Just give me a minute. I could just use Raiden Shogun to kind of pop off, although I just do want to be a little bit careful. We have our ult, good. Alright, now let's pop off. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We unfortunately don't have Boba, it's fine, we'll make it work. No, I need to, well, okay, that's going. Anyways, where's everybody? This. Jesus, that was a really messy start. Anyways, we almost clipped that person, just with one attack. And everything else is gonna die if I can get to them fast enough. The one thing that's a little shitty about the Raiden Shogun, which isn't really shitty, but anyways, we can basically recycle into all of our characters again, just because the Raiden Shogun gave us enough particles to make everything happen. And she's gonna die, a little bit of a waste. But yeah, basically there was, at no point, ever was I like in a rough situation where I couldn't manage, essentially. So that's what I mean of where I'm like, hell yeah, man. Like there's never an instance where I'm not like, I could have my ult in 2 seconds. Give me a minute. Also because Boba produces a shit ton of particles. Same thing with Xingqiu's E. If you hit that thing, it produces so many. And also, if you cap out on your ult, you'll just give the particles to another person. So it's still worth going and using their E. And say if you don't have your E, you use your ult, you use her ult, you use his ult. And then like in order to get everyone's ult, you have to burn their E, so it's on a cooldown. This kind of only matters to Xingqiu, which is on a 20-second cooldown. You can then just cycle to the Raiden Shogun, use her ult, and then everyone else will immediately be able to sequence again because she produces enough particles by herself for her team. And yeah. So you basically always want to go into the Raiden Shogun's ult with everybody's ult either up or on cooldown. Mostly up, essentially. But anyways, we kind of covered that one enough. Now, here's the funniest thing about the Raiden Shogun, especially with the way that she synergizes within teams. So first of all, you might be like, okay, Grin, she's great. We get it. All right, cute. But what if we go to a domain that has like Electro shit, right, man? As soon as we find an Electro person, absolutely fucked. No, absolutely not. Because again, one of the things she gives you on a passive is increases your other character's ult's damage and gives you your other character's ults always. So as long as you built these characters up to be worth a damn, you're just gonna, she could just basically be a battery. And also an attack spam, like she also stuns people. And also, she rarely gets downed. Why? Because she's a god that's teleporting around everywhere. So the enemies don't have a chance to like lay into her, and also with the team that I have built, enemies are getting hit like 50 times in the span of 1 second. So everything is just getting blitzkrieged. Anyways, this is a domain that has a bunch of Electro characters, but we also kind of weirdly supplement that by having a shit ton of other characters to be used. Now, normally this could just be said for anything except our main character, our BAAL, essentially facilitates every other character, increasing their damage, like I said. So it's not quite the same thing. She is mainly there to kind of be a crazy utility character. And yeah, we're going to be able to do pretty good, except every one of these, yeah, all of our characters are a little bit weak. So we're just gonna see what we can do. We're gonna throw this out real quick, even though it's kind of useless because they're immune to it. We're gonna suck up this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get our ult for you, and then we're gonna use this. And then we're gonna get our ult for everybody else. Because here's the thing: as long as you're hitting an enemy, you're gonna be gaining particles for your whole team. That's the only condition that needs to be met. And again, even though that one dude's smashing the ground, we're still more than okay. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna cycle into this. We would normally use Shin-Cho, but basically he's on a slight cooldown. We're gonna use this, do this again, and then do this. Boom! And now we have all of our other like side buffing characters ults going. And everything's dead. Oh no, the one guy is still slightly alive. Anyways, we'll do this real quick. We'll do this. We'll throw Boba out there, and that's the one thing where I do find I need to break my mental habit. But I don't want to basically use BAAL. So if everyone's ult's equipped, I'm basically like, all right, well, there's only one enemy. I'll kill him. But none of my characters do like DPS. So I should probably just burn Xiangling's ult, and as long as I have Shin-Cho's ult, and I run it with her, I can be okay. As long as I have Xiangling's ult and I run it with her, I'll be okay. I just have it in my head that I want to get all of my things like served up and then smack it down, which I could see being actually working against me. But yeah. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if by any means you appreciate my overwhelming excitement and absolute roller coaster of a ride for BAAL or for Raiden Shogun, what do you call it? I would very, very much appreciate any and all support on the channel. Appreciate all of you guys also for tuning into the Genshin content. I realize it's in a weird place right now, and honestly, I'm just happy to have this. Also, I'm pretty sure at this point, Mermaid Girl has already been out, so forgive me if this is like twisting the knife. But yeah, the thing that's crazy is this performance is way already good enough. But I still haven't even brought her talents up significantly. And she is one of the very, very few characters, I think, that exist in the game that could super benefit from crowning. Like when I crowned Razor, it was okay, but it wasn't like a weird thing. I can't even show you guys what he was prior. But basically, it wasn't like everything got a huge jump. Razor, I think it was actually one of the few that did do that, but like if we go to Shin-Cho, there's some characters that like don't get a huge surge, but Shin-Cho is also a weirdo. So like you guys can see, it's only like increasing by like 4%. But the thing is that's each one of the swords, and you fire like 4 swords per second. So this is actually like giving you an extra triple damage. So it's not just that, but it's weirdly working that way. But anyways, there's other things. Shin-Cho is a bad example. Yeah, so see, this is a little bit better of a damage example. It increases by 20%. This can eventually scale up when you bring it to level 9 and actually hit really hard. But it is also on a 10-second cooldown, but you also have 2 of them. And if you have Constellation 1, you have 3 of them. So then it becomes significantly more valuable. Like, this is a great example of, like, me crowning this will give me probably, like, 100% more damage on my plunge attacks, really. It says, like, normal attack, charge attack, but really, it's just plunge attacks that you're going to be getting a bonus here. And it just doesn't scale up. Whereas, again, if you look at the Raiden Shogun, everything scales up when we level her up. So I feel like she's the one instance where crowning her would actually be pretty damned huge. But anyways, that was us doing a domain that, all in all, shouldn't have probably worked with her, because, again, she's Electro, and by all means, she shouldn't have worked, and we walked out of there with all of our ults going and ready to pop off in any and every way. I will say, there's 2 instances where BAAL falls apart a little bit. One of them is for whatever stupid, dumb-ass reason, BAAL does not gain energy when fighting the wizards. Abyss Heralds. She can cut through wizards' shields, nice, but Abyss Heralds for whatever reason, when you like, her E doesn't proc. So when you hit an enemy, it doesn't proc her E. Also rude. Also, she has a good amount of resistance. That's the other thing that's pretty nuts about her. This is the other weakness to BAAL. You end up doing, like, okay, so there's two versions of BAAL. One of them is the version where you're just a battery, and that's very, very helpful. But the thing is if you build BAAL and you invest in her enough, she's eventually going to deal an abundance of damage. So then what happens when you can no longer attack things in your ult? Things die in 2 seconds. You're no longer generating particles for your whole team. So she becomes less of a battery and more of a DPS, but you still want the battery. So there's this weird, like, you feel like your rotation's offset if you have too much damage with BAAL. But I also think that's kind of okay, because as long as you're using other characters, you're gonna eventually get your ult back, you know? And again, there's moments in the Spiral Abyss where you don't want any doubt that you're gonna get your ult back to back, or you're gonna need to keep hitting enemies, so you're gonna need an abundance of damage. But it's hilarious when you, like, you train your BAAL, your Archon, your Raiden Shogun to take down Spiral Abyss, the hardest content in the game. It makes her kind of harder to use on the lower tier content to some small extent. But that's all you need to do is just build other characters like Bennett and Shangling to have enough energy recharge to where they can kind of, in some way, get by on their own. But also every character here is going to die real quick. And look at the damage we deal in a burst. We just did 87k. That's almost 1,000. I've one-shot a lot. I don't even think that crit, actually. So yeah, and also we can still get more damage on our talents. We can level it up twice if we crown it, and we can get the catch leveled up a bunch more, man. So to me, I'm just sitting there like, I already love the way she just flows within her, like, symbiotic, beautiful harmony. All of these words that describe, like, just complete synergy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And it's just too damn good, dude. Too damn good. And again, even in situations like this, she'll still pop off because, again, she's still generating particles for her team or energy so that, like, you can keep Shincho and everything up on 100% uptime. Also, you're just increasing their ult's damage, so that worked perfectly. And yeah, I don't know an instance where she doesn't crush or, like, gets very, very hindered. The only instance that I can think of is when you kill things too fast and you can't generate particles for your team. In that case, you're kind of like, you know how you're killing things in 5 seconds? You're killing things maybe 10 to 15 seconds now, because you have to, like, throw Boba out, hit someone with Shincho's E, and do all this other stuff, you know? But ladies and gentlemen, there'll definitely be another video on this character. In fact, okay, I wanted to end the video, but I did want to see one thing. I wanted to test something to some extent. Okay, let's go to Dragon Spine. This is a good place to actually test it. So none of these people are weak to anything. In fact, we're going to be on the high end. Let's clear this domain. I just want to see what the damage, what everything is like. And then I want to level up BAAL's ult to level 9. And like I said, things tend to bulldoze and get even stronger. But also, everything's already dying within, like, a fraction of a second. So I'm just kind of sitting here like, all right. I guess I'll build forward, even though it's entirely pointless, and I'll get to play the game less, so a little rough. In fact, I don't even know how y'all do it with like C2, who have, like, crazy more ult damage and all these things. But yeah. Anyways, we'll do one of these. We'll do one of these. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. And then we'll do one of these. And then this. Also, you're also just in, like, an immune state for such a long time. 86k, and you're about to get blitzkrieg. You're about to die in a hot second. There we go. Next person. Some of this, and he's basically dead. He died. Whew. Okay. And guess what? Boom, ult. Boom, ult. Everybody has their ult. Even the Raiden Shogun, baby, has their ult. In fact, something that I have been hearing around to some extent, when you do fight an enemy that has an abundance of health, that you can keep attacking for the duration of your ults, it does seem, very much seem like I have too much energy recharge, basically. I could go with more crit damage on my artifacts, but again, for the instances when you do accidentally kill something way too fast, you don't get to hit it as many times, that's when the energy recharge, having higher of it, could be useful. Also, yeah. Anyways, let's run this back, except this time, my friends, let us level up her talent to level 9, baby. Woo-wee. I can't even, if you had, also, sorry, if we go here, well, yeah, if you get a tier 3, her first scaling is here. So I could just see how that gets even more exacerbated. Wild. Absolutely wild. Anyways, don't do that. That's insane. Anyways, let's spend all of our money and just wreck ourselves. And honestly, you could get less of this, but it's just like, why would you? This is something that's always going to be useful, and also just becomes like a nice quick cast, massive damage ult kind of thing. And also it like all of those hits are now on your E, or on your bait, your first attack, your second attack, maybe not your first attack, maybe your third attack, because I think it's like half of a second, so you need like this weird minutia to take care of everything. Anyways, you should probably level up to E. It's just part of the character's kit, and it goes really, really far. And also, again, it doesn't just give you higher damage, it increases your other character's ult's damage by a pretty decent margin. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boom. Yes. Our ult's damage, when we get this, what does it look like when we crown this thing? Oh my goodness, look at that. Another 40%. Holy shit. We get it up to 721% initial cast, and we're already dealing 86 with so many other benefits. Like, most people can hit that, but it's eventually gonna be like Eula. Like, Eula can hit for like 4 million or something stupid. But that's it. What happens when it's done? It's not like it helps your other characters become more efficient and things like that. Also, yes, when you crown her, you'll get 7. So your resolve stacks, having more resolve stacks will contribute to not only your burst, but also your side abilities and all that stuff. Also, you get a nice rounded off thing for resolve stacks. Gained will be increased too. Fantastic. And then we get more scaling. Again, everything becomes a little more. Oh, I don't like that didn't get to 80. It's a little OCD, hate my life kind of thing. Anyways, but then this goes up to 25, so we get more energy for our team. But also the energy recharge does seem like it is quite limited and lacking. And I don't know if I might just crown. No, I'll wait to crown both. But it's got so much money. Golly, it costs like $1 million per crown. Disgusts me. But now, let's see how we do. Because this just like, even if it only increases by a small fraction, again, it's the energy recharge, it's everything. I shouldn't, honestly. It should compound though, because it's everything coming together. Anyways, this video is far too long, but I just want to do this with you guys because I think each ascension just becomes more and more nutty. And some characters you can ascend them and they're like, it's okay, like it's unnecessary, almost like Yoimiya. Whereas this character is like, no, every ascension you feel, or every talent ascension you feel. Anyways, we're gonna do one of these, this, Goba, some of this. I should have put this on first. That was a little bit of a waste, yes, so their ults weren't hitting as hard. I didn't get to see what the initial hit was. God damn you. Get over there. God damn you, what was the attack? I didn't know.
There is no escape.
Anyways, yeah, I feel like I didn't sync up things properly that time. Yeah, so I needed to cast her ult first. You need to cast, or no, her E first. I need to cast her E first. That buffs up everyone else's ult's damage. So that was my bad. All right, we're gonna run it back. Although things still felt like they died instantly. You know what I mean? Oh, also, I said that maybe we should like use Xingqiu and like then Raiden Shogun. Just to not like just to always have like something in our back pocket to use. I think that's a good rule of thumb when using against like lower tier enemies, like the enemies that you won't be able to hit enough in order to get your yield. And yeah, anyway, sorry. Boom. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and then this. And attack, go. I didn't get to see the initial hit. I'm sure in editing I'm like, ooh, look at us go. We're gonna blitzkrieg down that shield. We're gonna throw one of these. I could cycle into this immediately if I wanted. Everyone's ult's just on a little bit of a cooldown. And yeah, now I think Bennett's the only one, yeah, because I just popped it off and used it. But yeah, everyone else can go ahead and fire off, which is amazing. Which is why, like, in moments like that where I kind of like to be like, let's wait. Like I'll just take you out and save you for the next batch of enemies, so I can go into the next encounter fully ready to go, essentially. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I remember the last character where I got them and it felt like this, where it felt like I was just like, oh no, this, I have zero regrets. In fact, I kind of feel so shitty because when I first seen the Raiden Shogun, I was like, ooh, this doesn't seem quite, like, I don't know, it just didn't seem great. Also, I was just really hyped up for Yoimiya, so I was trying to like talk myself out of going for another character after. But no, man, she's one of the few characters that feels like almost perfect to play, at least to me. Especially with her ult, and especially in combination with Bennett, where like, I will admit, I think without Bennett there amplifying your attack, her damage would be okay. I think that's where people are talking about when it comes to like buffer. She doesn't, her ult is kind of weak, and it's supposed to be this magic katana attack. I think it does change it when you have Bennett. Like, I think if I just were to use the ult by itself, it'd be probably like, okay, it's kind of like a, you know, like a Xiao, or like a maybe Hu Tao or something, okay. It attacks very quickly, it gives us other support ability, so I kind of get why it's not as crazy. But with Bennett instances or snapshots her damage in like a big way, to where she just feels incredible, man. I don't know, like it a lot. Think she's just, if you're one, well, the banner's already gone. Never mind. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you managed to like the video, or I have anything to say about this, I would love to hear. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe my artifacts are just in a really good place, which is why I'm like, she feels insane. But if you were a person who had like normal artifacts and didn't farm for like what was functionally like 2 months, you'd be like, what the fuck? No, she's kind of underwhelming or whatever. I do think the catch and all that stuff should scale things like to where I am currently, which makes me excited to where I could potentially go, selfishly, sorry. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this, about her. Maybe it's just me. I just think she plays in a really fun way, and also she's allowing me to play with like Xingqius and Xianglings, which I never would have thought I would have been able to play with again, or at least Xianglin, of course Xingqiu. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for putting out with me. Subscribe button over there to my right, 2 videos further that way. Thank you once again, and goodbye.